Hello, everyone. First of all, a very happy new year to all of you. I wish you all a fulfilling and excellent 2021. Now, although nothing really changes except for the date, but a new year fills everyone up with enthusiasm and hope to start things afresh. Everyone starts making new resolutions and setting goals, but it's very hard to achieve these goals without any planning. So, adding a bit of planning and a roadmap always helps you keep a clear mind and protects you from going astray or getting lost along the way. So, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the data science learning roadmap. This is going to be an extension of the curriculum, but it charts out the multi level skills map that details out on what all skills you should hone, how you should measure yourself on each level, and techniques to master each of those skills. So I have created this roadmap based on my past experiences, interview experiences, frequently asked questions in the interviews, and requirements and eligibility criteria mentioned in across so many job descriptions. And along with this roadmap, you would also get a learning tracker that I've created. So that would help you keep track of how much you have done, your progress, and how much is left. Along with that, I have also provided a few learning resources on each of those skills and each of those topics that you should master. So, without any further ado, let's deep dive into this roadmap. There are a number of skills and tasks under the field of data science. Now, the roadmap is based on these tasks. I've ordered them here in multiple strata or levels based on the level of complexity and how commonly they are used in the industry. So, we start off by programming at the bottom, which is the most common one, or I should say, prerequisite in majority of the tasks in data science. Then we have data extraction and wrangling, which gets slightly more complex as you have to extract, manipulate data, clean it, and take care of other issues with the data. Then exploratory data analysis and storytelling, which requires business acumen to be able to define good questions, create insightful reports, dashboards for the management to make decisions. Then we have applied statistics and mathematics, which is commonly asked in data science interviews, and a few topics that require deep understanding. After that, we have machine learning with the three types of learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. And not many organizations actually need you to do machine learning modeling. So it's basically low on common usage. And then lastly, we have AI or deep learning, which gets more niche, and it helps us solve problems in computer vision and NLP, getting a lot of traction these days. And it uses deep architectures of neural networks. It's a field in itself now, and it's beyond the scope of this particular roadmap. So we'll probably have to create, a dedicated roadmap for deep learning, and it's beyond the scope of this video. Here we have the data science roadmap. You can see I have taken out so many branches. All of these branches are basically the skills, the major section, the level that we talked about in the pyramid. So you can see I have programming, data extraction and wrangling, then EDA, business acumen and storytelling. Then I have data engineering, which can be, a separate roadmap in itself as well. Then we have statistics and mathematics and machine learning at the bottom, which goes at the end of it. So you start off from the left top and go down in that left lane, and then you come to the right top, and then you go down in that particular order. So if you want to skip, so data engineering is something that you can take up on the side. I want to cover it here, so I've added it here as well. So it's part of if you are applying for a full stack data scientist job, I think they expect you to know a little about cloud services, how you're going to productionize your model, deploy your model on production servers, and all of those things. So I want to cover it here. So let's take a look at each one of these one by one. So first of all, we have programming. So you are required to have sound programming skills. So every data science job description would ask for programming expertise in at least one of the languages. So most of them are using Python or R. I personally prefer Python for most of my tasks. So this whole the roadmap has been constructed in such a way so it's biased towards Python. So you should be good with the Python scripting or R scripting. You should have sound SQL scripting skills as well. You should be able to write complex queries. You should be able to write functions, logic, conditional logic, conditional flow. You should know about list and dictionary comprehension, learn about object-oriented programming, work with external libraries, fundamental algorithms, so on and so forth. Also, I have I've also written a blog over it. So in case you feel that you are not able to find out the right resource for where to learn all of these skills or all of these topics, so I've covered in detail like what all you should cover and also the resources, you can say. So these all resources I provided from Coursera, DataCamp, Kaggle, a few of the good resources. This is not a be all and all list, but I mean this is something that these are like really good resources that I followed at some point in my career as well. And some of these like I want to cover, so it's not that I have covered all of these. All right, so coming back, so make sure that you are able to write fundamental algorithms, searching and sorting algorithms, trees, graphs. Make sure that you are actually good with all of these basic data structures and algorithms. Now, once that is done, you should also practice, with Git, GitHub, learn how to handle command line interface, and how will you measure. So that's another part of the roadmap. So you'll have to solve a lot of problems on HackerRank and LeetCode. So do all of those problems. You can build projects like maybe extracting data from a website, like scraping data from a website. That would actually require you to first find out legitimate or websites that allow you to scrape data from there. And then you can build like games like rock paper scissors, tic-tac-toe, hangman, and so on and so forth. You can also build some web application like YouTube video downloader, and website blocker and all of those. Then moving on, the next part is data extraction and wrangling. A significant part of the data science work is centered around finding appropriate data that can help you solve your problem. And you can collect data from different legitimate sources like scraping, if the website allows APIs. A lot of websites like applications like Twitter, TMDB, Quandl, many financial instrument applications allow you to query data from their APIs, and you'll have to just set up your accounts and write your scripts to extract data. So once you extract data, so most of the time people are facing issues with finding it very hard to collect the right data set for the problem that they're solving. So that's one task in itself. Then you'll have to write some scripts to extract data from different sources. Next step is to format the data, clean it, type conversion basically. So once you have the data in hand, an analyst will often would find herself or himself cleaning data frames, working with multi-dimensional arrays, doing scientific computing, using descriptive computations as well. And then there's a lot of data manipulation, aggregation that's required, that goes in. So you'd have to learn to use these two very important libraries called pandas and NumPy. Then data transformation requires you to, so basically this is again using pandas, joining, slicing, subsetting, indexing. You should be good and you should feel comfortable doing all of these operations. Then handling missing values. So you'll have to master these two libraries, pandas and NumPy. And when it comes to projects, so basically I've added over here, so you can look at a few resources that I provided to learn or master these two libraries, pandas and numpy. A few of them from Kaggle. Then I have added a free codecamp course as well on YouTube, which is free of cost again. So project ideas collect data from any website API. There are many public repositories as well that you can find. Find them and start working on the data set. So you'll have to do some initial exploration, define some questions, and then get down to crunching those data sets. So that is the second step. And then again, you can contribute to any open source repository as well in their analysis, or maybe start a new project at any of the organization that you're working at. So that can be another initiative that you can take. Now, next up, we have EDA, business acumen and storytelling. So basically drawing insights from the data and then communicating the same to the management in simple, concise terms and using the right visualizations is the core responsibility of a data analyst or marketing analyst. And there's another job profile, that is data product manager, which requires you to have a good knowledge of your business that you're associated with. So defining business focused questions, that is very important, because most of the time you're just you go into that rabbit hole where you are just trying to find out answers to the questions that you have that would be good for your coding, but not actually for the entire business. So make sure that you define questions that have metrics directly related or directly correlated with the business outcome. So then studying data distributions, learning about outliers, handling the outliers, and moving on to univariate, multivariate analysis, learn to perform these analysis. And there are many other methods that you'll have to deep dive into. So I provided courses for univariate and multivariate analysis. There are many lower level techniques, algorithms that you'll have to learn about in order to handle, let's say, numerical data, or numerical categorical data, or categorical. So there are different combinations that you'll have to learn to address. Then data visualization is a very important aspect of data analysis, and being able to choose the right plot, the right chart, in order to convey what the data is actually telling, to actually draw out insights. Then building dashboards, you can a very underrated skill is to do all of the analysis in Excel or Tableau, or most of the time people start off with writing Python code or start doing all of this crunching, but actually it's just a task of a few clicks in these really great tools. So you should learn to use Excel, Tableau, or Power BI, any of the tool that you feel comfortable with. I've also provided the list of resources here. So again, you can look at these resources where I have added a few. So you can look at this one, data visualization in spreadsheet, Excel, Tableau, master any one of them. So there's a huge demand for that as well in the market. Then writing concise and insightful reports, and business acumen, learn about business acumen, the product in itself. I've added a few books. So measure what matters, decode and conquer, and cracking the product manager interview. So most of these are so it would suit a profile which would be which is in the in between data analysis, the core data analysis, and product manager. So there's another profile called data product manager that you can actually target after this one. Then we have data engineering. So data engineering, again, it's a very core technical profile. So you would have to go down and learn to use first of all, you should have like very strong programming skills. You should have really good command over Python or whichever language that you're using. Then second thing is working with CLI. You'd be required to work a lot with the terminal, with the shell. So working with Linux based operating systems, that is again a very important prerequisite over here. Then building data extraction, transformation, loading, or ETL pipelines. So that is like the core responsibility of a data engineer, just to make sure the data is coming in very smoothly in clean formatted way. And then you should be able to support the data team, where scientists and analysts are working and utilizing the data coming in from the data warehouses that you are actually maintaining. Then using tools, using Spark, Kafka, Airflow, and there are many more open source tools, as well as there are tools that are offered by cloud services like AWS, GCP. So you should try and master at least one of them, any one of the cloud services. So AWS is something that has really good community support and customer support as well. So you can pick up AWS. GCP is coming up. Azure is also in progress. So yeah, pick any one of your choice. Then algorithms, you should be familiar with MapReduce, Yarn, and then deploying. And there are many other models. So I've just highlighted the high level picture, but the resources that I provided, they would deep dive into each of these. So deploying ML models in production, so that's another one of the tasks that you would be responsible for. So once, let's say, the data scientist or the machine learning engineer or people in the data team have come up with a model, it would be your responsibility to actually go ahead and deploy it in the production. Then you can also, so let's say you have gone through it and you are ready to appear for a certification program, you can do that. So there's AWS offers this certified machine learning program, a certification, and then there is one offered by GCP, which is called Professional Data Engineer. You can take up these examinations. It's not required, but it does add weight to your profile, and it doesn't guarantee any job, but yeah, this is something that you can actually do to measure your knowledge or assess yourself on this level. Then comes the very important part, which is statistics and mathematics, especially if you are interested in applying for a job as a data scientist or a quantitative analyst. So you are required to be thorough with concepts like descriptive statistics, which require you to go through, be able to summarize data using mean, median, mode, standard deviation, trimmed mean, weighted average, all of those. And then it deep dives into inferential statistics and an experiment design, which is again a very crucial part of data science. So you should be good with designing hypothesis tests, A/B testing, analyzing A/B testing, experiment results, learning about what is confidence interval, how do you make a conclusion out of the p-value, and ANOVA analysis. So ANOVA is basically analysis of variance, and then chi-square tests. All of these are actually deep core statistical methods that you would actually need in order to make sense of the results that you are actually deriving or collecting during those experiments. Then you should be thorough with sampling, data distributions, t-tests, linear algebra when it comes to mathematics. So you should actually know at least this much in order to move ahead and start with machine learning. So I've added the resources here. So you can look at these books that I've recommended, Practical Statistics, Naked Statistics, just to have, so this one is for, it's non-technical, but yeah, it gives you a general picture of how you can, utilize statistics in the daily world. And then Practical Statistics deep dives into each of these topics that I've talked about. And then there are two different courses by Udacity. These are free of cost again. You can look up. And then I've added a few project ideas that you can take up from here as well. Now the next part is, of course, machine learning. So we have supervised, unsupervised reinforcement. So in supervised, you have to master classification and regression algorithms. And then unsupervised, clustering, PCA, dimensionality reduction. So you'll have to master all of these in order to be able to actually stand out or stand a chance to pass those machine learning interviews. And reinforcement learning is something that you might want to skip, because not there are very few organizations that would actually ask you to know reinforcement learning. So based on whatever you are applying for, so go ahead and do that. Then you should be very good with choosing the right performance metrics and how to make sense of them. So root mean square, accuracy, confusion metrics when it comes to classification, AUC, ROC. So learn all of the performance metrics associated with that particular algorithm that you are working with. Then hyperparameter tuning, how to optimize your algorithm, how to optimize your model. Then statistical ML includes KNN, decision trees, bagging, boosting, that comes with optimizing and ensemble modeling. So ensemble models like random forest, voting classifier, AdaBoost, you should be thorough with all of these models, build a lot of them, train a lot of them, and see how they are different and how they optimize or enhance the performance of your model in your entire system in solving the problem. Again, provided these very important resources over here that I found useful. Again, you can add or look for any other resource if you want. This is just a list. So then at the end, I've added this deep learning course. Basically, you can take up this specialization, very popular specialization offered by deeplearning.ai. Andrew Ng again is the author of this course. And at the end, I have provided a learning tracker for all of you. So this learning tracker is basically just listing down all the resources and the project assignment or any remark or notes that you would want to add. So this is something that you can follow. You can add the status to completed in progress. You can make I'll provide the link in the description. You can duplicate it and use it to your need, customize it to your needs, and then go ahead from there. So I've added all the lists, all the tables here, as you can see: programming, data extraction, EDA, and so on and so forth. So you can use this Notion template and make one for yourself as well. So this is a pretty wide spectrum of data science that I've covered over here. Everything that comes under the data domain, I have it over here, except for deep learning, which requires special attention. So I'd create a dedicated roadmap for deep learning separately in some other video. But yeah, I think you are not required to cover every branch, every skill out there. And it also depends on the kind of job that you want to apply for, the kind of organization that you want to apply to. For example, there are organizations that do not want you to do any machine learning model. They just simply want you to understand data from a statistical point of view. So if you're good with statistics, you're good to go for that particular job. So but there are areas that I personally want to enhance and work upon. So for example, data engineer is something that I've worked on in the past, but cloud services provider or maybe using a particular tool of AWS, that is something that I want to go back and learn more about. Programming, for example, very basic, but I might want to go back and solve some more lead code problems or learn about best practices in order to be able to contribute to open source. And machine learning is something that still requires you to be up to date, as there are new things coming up every now and then. And statistics is something that I'm working on. I have been working on a course for on statistics, which will be out soon. But yeah, I think I hope you find this video and the tools that I have provided, the tracker, the roadmap, and the resources. I hope you find all of them useful. And if you do, please share it with your peers as well. Do like this video and subscribe to this channel, help us grow. And one of the most important things that I want to say is comment down below if you think I should add something to any of the branches, if I should add any new skill, or if you want me to create a series or a tutorial or do a project video on any one of these topics. Feel free to comment down below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.